Hello everyone. Before we get started, I would like to address a serious topic, my review grade for Batman Forever. I had given this movie the unfair grading of a D+, as a knee-jerk reaction to the complete shift in tone from Batman and Batman Returns. But after watching the shit show that is Batman and Robin, I now realize my mistake. So as of now, I would like to officially change my grade for Batman Forever from a D+ to a C. Thank you for your time. Please enjoy the review.
I hate when people talk during the movie.
Hello, my trigger-happy friends. My name is Stevie Cade, and thank you for joining me as I continue my review for all live-action Batman movies. Before we get started, if you could, hit that subscribe button and the little bell ding thing so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. So grab your keyboards, head down to the comment section, and let's review Batman and Robin. And as I've done in my past Batman reviews, I have a Batman checklist. This is a list of things that I expect to see from Batman in every movie, and how much it's changed from film to film. The infamous bat suit with the very prominent nipples. Even though Batman Forever did have nipples, it didn't make quite the ruckus that this did. And we're back to a smaller chest piece and a much blacker suit. Overall, the suit looks okay. But then we get another suit at the end of this movie that is just god-awful. It's terrible. It has the big silver bat emblem, and they collected the whole set because Batman, Robin, and Batgirl all wield this silver and black suit. The Batmobile is now a convertible because of things, of reasons. This Batmobile makes the Batman Forever Batmobile look like a Batmobile. Just a very vibrant Batmobile. This one looks like a bumper car that you would see at the fair. The Batcave. It's still just a basement. And a little side note to this Batcave, if you notice in one scene where they're leaving the Batcave through its secret passageway, what is on the other side of that secret passageway to hide that it's a secret passageway? A door. Yes, it's disguised as a door. It doesn't open like a door. This is a secret entrance that opens a rock wall, but on the back of that wall is a door with a handle that either doesn't open or just opens up to a wall of rock. Batman's gadgets. I'm not going to list them all because there's a gadget for every fucking thing ever needed in Batman world. The only thing missing is the bat shark repellent. And I'm sure if they ran into a shark, they would have it. Anything you need, there's a bat something for it. Moving on with the review here, I had once read that if you can't find something good in a movie, then you're not watching it close enough. So with that, let's dive into what I like about this film. Arkham Asylum. The Arkham Asylum in this movie looks like it's straight out of the comic books. It really looks different than the rest of the film. Like it actually looks cool. It really even compares to the one from the video games. I'm not sure if the oversaturation element that this movie has just works for this Arkham Asylum, or this Arkham Asylum is a break from the monotony of the rest of this film that is just in your face all the freaking time. Either way, it works for me. Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. That's right, Alicia Silverstone makes it on my what I like list. Her performance stands out because she doesn't stand out. Unlike everyone else that's in this movie whose acting is terrible for one reason or the other, Alicia Silverstone gives a very normal performance. If we take her character and her performance and pluck her out of this movie and put her into a better movie, I'm not exactly sure if she would still be on this list. Maybe not. But in this movie, it's Class A acting. The Nora Freeze Snow Globe. It's the one that Mr. Freeze makes in Arkham Asylum. He chisels a Nora figurine out of ice and then places it on top of a clock's gears. And this is actually a pretty sentimental and creative way to do this. It brought an element from the Batman animated series into the movie. Nice little addition. I liked it a lot. The whole idea of this movie, bringing Batman and Robin to the big screen with Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy. This is a movie that sounds good on paper. Like, who doesn't want to see Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy and Batman and Robin in a movie? But the execution wasn't good at all. But the idea, I could see the idea. You see what I'm doing here? I'm really reaching for what I like. But this next thing on my what I like list was not too far of a reach. Michael Goff as Randolph. Whoa, Randolph? Oh my God. Michael Goff as Alfred. You're not my favorite Alfred, but you're not a bad Alfred either. You've been with this franchise through the good times and through the bad times. But you've stayed consistent, and I respect you for that. And that's why you made it on my what I like list. Well, that, and I'm pretty sure that Batman's abusing you behind closed doors.
I must have dozed off. My sincerest apologies.
No, there's no apology necessary, Alfred. It's the first time it's happened in 30 years.
Now let's move on to what I'm on the fence about when it comes to this movie. On the fence. Well, couldn't find anything, so let's move right along with what I don't like about this movie. George Clooney as Batman and Bruce Wayne. George Clooney got a lot of hate for his portrayal of Batman, and rightfully so. But even over the years, people have taken that hate and shifted it over to Schumacher, making it all his fault. I call bullshit. Clooney's overall performance is bad. Seems like he's just phoning in all of his lines. The way he comes across to me is somebody that is in the mindset that this movie's going to be successful no matter what I do, so I'm just going to show up, say my lines, and do whatever I want. Literally brings no emotion to this movie at all except for anger. Every line that he has, he sounds angry when he's saying it. So Clooney, no scapegoating Schumacher for your performance, okay? You definitely shit the bed on this one, and you're lucky this didn't end your career. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. French Fries. Mr. Freeze, but come on, fries, you know. So I will give you this. When Arnold Schwarzenegger is just in his regular makeup, not the suit, but in the makeup, he actually looks like a cool Mr. Freeze. I don't mind that aspect of it. And even his performance, I can see that he's actually just trying to have fun with it. You know, given the direction that Schumacher was giving him. But other than that, there's nothing else Mr. Freeze about him. Just because he carries a freeze gun and says puns, so many puns, 27 ice puns to be exact. And considering that Arnold Schwarzenegger got paid $25 million to do this movie, that's just a hair less than $1 million per pun. Think about that. And they missed out on the opportunity to use the best pun. In 1989, Joker says, "It's going to be a hot time in the cold town tonight." And then Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman also said this same exact line. Missed opportunity there, guys. But his overall performance is a cartoon. And not like the Batman animated series cartoon. Obviously, not like that. Like Looney Tunes. This is just the result of the world that was built around him by Schumacher. Schumacher had shot this movie as a Looney Tunes cartoon. So even though Arnold's performance wasn't great, I don't necessarily blame him. Now, there are a few other things about Mr. Freeze that I had questions about while watching this movie. Did he not freeze Nora? Did he not freeze her? I thought he froze her, you know, to like save her from the whatever disease, but then we see her floating in this tub of water. That's not ice. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments below if I missed something, but I thought she was supposed to be frozen. Also, Mr. Freeze's lair. There's a heat button and then there's a cold button. Why is there a heat button? At what point in time will he need this heat button? Anybody who wants to defeat you can just come in, hit that heat button, and that's it? You're defeated? Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. Her costume is fine, her performance is vibrant, but it's way over the top and, again, just very cartoony. This whole movie's a fucking cartoon. Poison Ivy is a perfect example of what happens when great actors are being directed badly. Uma Thurman, you can blame Schumacher. Still not you, George Clooney. And Poison Ivy's integrity is very inconsistent throughout this movie. Like after she becomes Poison Ivy, when she falls into that dirt thing with chemicals on it, and now she's like part plant or whatever, she claims she wants to save all plant life, and then immediately burns down her lab that has plants in it. I guess fuck those plants. Then we all know her teaming up with Mr. Freeze. This makes no sense because he wants to freeze the entire city, and plants, well, they don't work that way. Plants die when frozen. How did nobody see this big loophole in the movie when shooting it? The character makes no sense. And neither does her sidekick. The experiment gone wrong that they're calling Bane. I know that's not Bane. You know that's not Bane. Schumacher did not know this was not Bane. He believed that this is what Bane is, I think. This Bane is actually just a mixture from the Gimp in Pulp Fiction and Stretch Armstrong. Put those two together, you have whatever this fucking thing is in this movie. Chris O'Donnell as Robin. He just doesn't have much of a point in this movie. They try to give him a point. They try to give him a storyline. I'm going to go out on my own, Batman. But he never does. So that's kind of a pointless storyline. Nothing ever comes of it. If they would have just given him no lines in this movie, I would feel exactly the same way about him as I do now. You know? But all the dialogue surrounding him is just a failed attempt to try to give Batman an emotional conflict. And that's the entire point of Robin in this movie. Commissioner Gordon. Or as I've been calling you this entire series, the worst Commissioner Gordon ever. Because you are a terrible Commissioner Gordon. I can't blame Schumacher for this one because you were terrible across the board. All you do is gamble, party, and drink. And you deserve the Gotham you live in. Now, Alicia Silverstone's performance may have made it on my what I like list, but Batgirl the character, not so much. Batgirl, aka Barbara Gordon. Barbara Pennyworth. Barbara Wilson. Shit. Whatever the fuck they're calling her in this movie, they were actually going to have her be Barbara Gordon, but because the character Commissioner Gordon was such a minute character, they decided to make her a relative of Alfred instead. That's how bad this Commissioner Gordon is. So Barbara comes all the way from the UK without an accent and arrives unexpectedly as her Uncle Alfred, who's been sending her suspicious amounts of money, is dying. Somebody's trying to get in the will.
Uncle Alfred's been supporting me ever since.
You have.
Oh, a secret sound?
But not only that, remember, she shows up unexpectedly and then offered a place to stay. So why is she sneaking out? Who's making her stay there? It's only an element, to show that she has a nightlife like Batman and Robin. I get that, but the way they did it makes no sense. She's there voluntarily. And apparently finding out Batman's real identity is the only qualification you need to become one of Batman's partners. She literally has no qualifications besides she rides dirt bikes at night. Well, and now she knows everything because Alfred gave her the CD that told her everything that she needs to know about Batman. But then they accept her as Batgirl because I don't understand why. This is a woman that nobody knows. She's been there for like 2 days, and now she's Batgirl. She could be a con artist and nobody would know the difference. And now she has access to not only all of Batman's equipment, but Bruce Wayne's estate. Much like many things in this movie, her character also makes no sense. She was just shooed in. Schumacher. She was Schumachered in. This is all just bad storytelling. There's no real vision going on here. Even the plans throughout the story don't even make sense. Like when they try to spring a trap on Mr. Freeze. What better way to announce that you're having a diamond party than also to put on the invite that Batman and Robin are going to be there? Because that will entice bad guys to show up. Like, why would they say that? Why would they put them on there? Doesn't matter. Their trap failed anyway. Don't try to make sense of anything that goes on. If you need to know what's going on in this movie, just wait a second. They'll be sure to explain it to you in very poorly given exposition. There's literally one scene where Mr. Freeze calls over one of his goons to explain to him something that the audience needed to know. And the entire movie is filled with very poor set designs, props, well, except for the Frozen Robin prop. Are there still Frozen Robin props around? I want one. And even the editing is just god-awful. They reuse clips over and over again. Or even that one clip where Robin's drowning, and they use the same clip of him popping out of the water. They reverse it to make it look like he's struggling with water. And then they use that clip again when he actually comes out of the water. What? If they didn't show that, I still would have assumed that Robin was having trouble with the water. Like, they didn't need to go through the effort of doing that terrible editing. Or when Barbara discovers Alfred's password, she looks at the picture because Peg is written on the picture, but not when they show it in this clip because they don't want you to figure it out too quickly. They literally edited out her name in this picture. She types in the wrong name, password doesn't work, they show the picture again, and the name is there because I can't explain this. I can't explain the thought pattern that went behind this sort of editing. And then we have the costume changes out of nowhere. They leave one crime scene, chasing criminals to another crime scene, and they all decide to stop and get costume changes because I guess we all need to be in shitty costumes for the end of this film. Literally, Barbara shows up in one scene, then has a costume change in the very next scene. Then Batman saves these people at the end, only to drop them off in the ice canyon and leave them there so he had room to pick up his bat buddies on the way up. The Robin symbol appears when Robin, and only Robin, crashes through things. Batman Flintstones down a dinosaur. Ivy ends up in Arkham Asylum somehow, and they let Mr. Freeze have his suit when he's in Arkham Asylum. Why would you let Mr. Freeze have his suit in Arkham Asylum? He's a prisoner. What was wrong with the freeze beam? And then Batman saves Alfred by injecting him with some mystery serum so that Alfred could live for another 30 days? None of this makes any sense. And sorry, I went on a rant there, but fuck this movie. Overall, I watched this movie with my son and we had a wonderful time. And not for the reasons that Schumacher wanted us to have a wonderful time. We spent the entire film laughing our heads off and rewinding parts just to watch how bad they were and laugh at them again. But the film itself is garbage. And Schumacher is mostly to blame, except for you, Clooney. I'm holding you responsible for your shit. His incoherent storytelling and his terrible character development is what makes this movie just like Bane, an experiment gone wrong. And that's why I'm giving this movie an F.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!
Whew, okay. We made it through that Batman series. I'm really looking forward to moving on to the Nolan films after this. But I know there are some defenders for this film. Are you one of them? Let me know in the comments below your thoughts for defending this movie. I would actually genuinely like to discuss this with you. Also, be sure to check out some more of my videos right here. And as always, stay trigger happy, my friends. Peace.
Loves me not. Loves me.
Not. Surprise. I am your new cellmate.